Welcome to Poland. Do you know that the name Poland derives from the name of the tribe Polanie? It means people living in open fields. Actually, when you come here, you will find out that the bigger part of Poland is completely flat. So where is Poland? Geographically, Poland is located in the very center of Europe, but politically, it belongs to the eastern countries. The country is member of NATO since 1999 and part of the European Union since 2004. Now let's take a look over the neighboring countries. First on the east we have Germany. Then comes Czech Republic, followed by Slovakia. Then we have Ukraine, Belarus, Lithuania, and in the end, a little bit of Russia. Now you know all the neighbors and we can move to the Polish national symbols. Here you can see the flag of the country and the coat of arms. Once you come here, you will see them in pretty much every state institution. One interesting fact about the country is its constitution, which has been adopted on 3rd of May in 1791. This makes the Polish constitution the first one of its type in Europe. We already mentioned that Poland is part of the European Union, but not a member of the Eurozone. That is the reason why the currency is zloty. And if you want to convert your money into Polish zloty, keep it in mind that 1 zloty is around 4 euros. Something curious about Poland is the homogeneous structure of the society. 96.9% of people are Polish. So what about the minorities? Usually they are formed by people from the neighboring countries, and the biggest one of them is the German minority. Now we would like to take you on a virtual tour around Poland. On the map you can see the official administrative division of the country. It's divided into 16 provinces and each one of them has a lot to show. And since you are going to spend the next 1 year as volunteers in Świecie, we want to start your journey from that point. And here we are in Województwo Kujawsko-Pomorskie. Świecie. The castle in Świecie is an example of medieval architecture. It was built in mid-14th century. The tower is more than 34 meters tall, making it the tallest leaning tower in Poland. From the tower you can see a wonderful view of Vistula River. This is a photo from the city center, Rynek in Polish. The market square in Świecie is surrounded by houses from 19th century. And last but not least, Świecie is the best place to become a celebrity. Chełmno. Chełmno has a well-preserved medieval center with 5 Gothic churches and a beautiful Renaissance town hall in the middle of the market square. In the region, Chełmno is well known as the Lowers town, where a historical Valentine altar is present and the relics of Saint Valentine have been preserved for several hundred years in the local parish church. Chełmno extermination camp was a Nazi German extermination camp. After the invasion of Poland in 1939, Germany annexed the area as part of the new territory, aiming at its complete Germanization. Bydgoszcz. Bydgoszcz is a city located in northern Poland on the Brda and Vistula rivers. It's the 8th largest city in Poland. The city is mostly associated with water, sports, waterfront, music and urban greenery. It is worth noting that Bydgoszcz boats are the largest city park in Poland. The city was also once famous for its industry. Toruń. Famous for its native son, the astronomer Copernicus, Toruń was founded by the Teutonic Knights in the 13th century. You can still see the ruins of their castle, left pretty much unchanged from when it was destroyed by medieval townsfolk. In Torun you can visit the Gingerbread Museum, a fully functional 16th century gingerbread factory. The museum filled with the history and the scent of the famous gingerbread, which teaches through fun and interaction traditional gingerbread baking. In Poland, pierniki are everywhere. They are a sweet food product flavored with ginger and typically using honey rather than just sugar. Gingerbread food vary, ranging from a soft, moist loaf cake to something close to a ginger biscuit. Torun is a hometown of Nicolaus Copernicus, a Renaissance mathematician and astronomer who formulated a model of the universe that placed the sun rather than the earth at the center of the universe. Now province number 2. Województwo pomorskie. Trójmiasto, Gdańsk, Sopot and Gdynia. A strategic and highly influential port for nearly 1,000 years, Gdańsk was a stronghold of the Teutonic Knights and later became an influential city during the Middle Ages. Largely destroyed in the Second World War, Gdańsk was splendidly rebuilt in the aftermath as one of Europe's most beautiful port cities. Now Gdańsk is drawing numerous visitors into its history city center, museums and to its expansive beaches. Here is the European Solidarity Center, a modern 5-story structure detailing the history of the anti-communist solidarity movement, along with the resistance movements to the other communist regimes throughout the Eastern Bloc during the Cold War. The biggest input for that had Solidarity, which in the early 1980s became the first independent labor union in a Soviet bloc. Solidarity gave rise to a board, non-violent, anti-communist social movement that claimed to reach 9.4 million members. In Gdańsk was born one of the co-founders of Solidarity, Lech Wałęsa. He is a politician, trade union organizer, philanthropist and human rights activist, a charismatic leader who became the second president of the Third Polish Republic. Another symbol of Gdańsk is the amber. The stone has been appreciated for its color and natural beauty since Neolithic times. Nowadays, amber is made into a variety of decorative objects. Today is believed that the amber stone has a protective qualities that balance the emotions and clear the mind. It releases negative energy and eases stress by clearing phobias and fears. So if you have any of these troubles, now you know the solution. Another city in the same province is Sopot. It lies between the largest cities of Gdańsk to the southeast and Gdynia to the northwest. The three cities together make up a metropolitan agglomeration called Tri-City. Sopot is best known with its nightlife. Here we want to recommend you the application Where to Be, which will keep you updated about the parties in the best clubs and discos in the city you are in. The third city from the agglomeration is Gdynia. From a small fishing village until the 20th century, Gdynia was rapidly built into Poland's largest and busiest seaport after the First World War. As a result, it's mainly a very modern city. In Gdynia takes place the Open Air Festival. The first edition of the festival was organized in 2002, and through the years it was headlined by Jack White, Arctic Monkeys, Pearl Jam, Fate No More, Queens of the Stone Age, and many other bands. Malbork. Malbork is a town in northern Poland founded in the 13th century by the Knights of the Teutonic Order. The town is noted for its medieval Malbork castle, built in the 13th century as the order's headquarters in what later became known as East Prussia. The castle of the Teutonic Order in Malbork is the largest castle in the world by surface area. The castle is a classic example of a medieval fortress and is the world's largest brick castle. Województwo zachodniopomorskie. Szczecin. Szczecin is also known as Stettin, its German name. It's a maritime port city in Pomerania. Szczecin is split into two parts and the port is situated in between. The city played an important role in the anti-communist uprisings. Close to Szczecin is Krzywy Las, which is popular for its crooked trees. Popular activity in the region is canoeing. This part of Poland is well known with its rivers suitable for this type of sports. Województwo lubuskie. Świebodzin. Świebodzin is a town in western Poland. The center still contains remnants of the town's past as a medieval walled settlements, including two nearly intact towers and fragments of the town's defensive walls and bastions. Here you can visit the statue Christ the King, a giant piece of art of a crowned Jesus Christ, installed on a hill on the outskirts of the town. It's claimed to be the world's largest statue of Jesus, and the construction was funded by donations from local people. Polish people are Catholic, and All Saints' Day is annual national holiday for them. Many people lay flowers and candles on the graves of family members and friends in cemeteries. Województwo wielkopolskie. Poznań. Poznań lies midway between Berlin and Warsaw, which has helped make it an important town for centuries. Badly damaged in the Second World War, the city has been beautifully restored. The display of mechanical fighting goats, which are inside the town hall, played out daily at noon above the clock on the front wall of the building of the so-called Ratusz, is one of the city's main tourist attractions. 11th of November is the National Independence Day in Poland, but in Poznań is also St. Martin's Day. The people of Poznań eat rogale, a type of croissants made especially for this occasion. The Lech Brewery is one of the largest in Poland and produces different types of beers like Lech, Tyskie, Żubr and Redz. Woodstock is a festival which takes place close to Poznań. It's a huge free summer music festival held in the beginning of August. Gniezno. Gniezno is one of the most important towns in the history of Poland. It was the first capital of the nation. It is also closely entwined with the origins of Christianity. Recently, a number of the buildings in the town have been renovated, helping to revive the visible historic importance of the place. Województwo dolnośląskie. Wrocław. Wrocław is the fourth largest city and the capital of the Województwo dolnośląskie. Originally built across several islands, the city still has many lovely bridges and beautiful architecture. The Rynek, lined by the colorful buildings, is one of the most popular destinations in the city. Our first trip in Poland was to Wrocław. Something really typical, there are the small dwarfs that you can find in every corner of the city, like this one which is holding a dumpling, for instance. The dumplings are known as pierogi. It is the most typical Polish food. They are made of a tinely rolled dough with various fillings. A large number of filling types makes this food a snack, spicy first course, or even a dessert. The main square you can find Piwnica Świdnicka, the oldest restaurant in Europe which also functions as a brewery. The Centennial Hall is a historic building constructed according to the plans of the architect Max Berg, when the city was part of the German Empire. On this photo you can see one of the Hitler's speeches held inside this building. Województwo opolskie. Opole. Opole is a city in southern Poland on the Odra River, where the German makes up around 3% of the population. The National Festival of Polish Song in Opole is an annual music festival. The Opole Festival is meant as a summary of the past year's achievements by Polish songwriters and performers. The Moszna Castle is a historic castle and residence located in a small village of Moszna in Poland. The castle is one of the best known monuments in the western part of Upper Silesia. Jura Park is a paleontological museum combined with an amusement park located on the still active paleontological excavation site. Województwo Śląskie. Częstochowa. Częstochowa is a city in southern Poland on the Warta River. It is known for the famous Pauline monastery of Jasna Góra. Every year, millions of pilgrims from all over the world come to the city to see the Pauline monastery. Katowice. Katowice is a center of science, culture, industry, business, trade and transportation in southern Poland. It is also the main city in the Upper Silesian industrial region. Unfortunately, many old buildings were demolished in the 1950s to make space for monumental communist modern building in the Rynek. The Alternative of Music Festival in Katowice supports a variety of independent arts and culture events like exhibitions, workshops and movie screenings. A typical food from this part of Poland is the so-called kluski. They are made of dal or potatoes and usually are served in combination with chopped and fried sausages and onion. Województwo Małopolskie. Kraków. Kraków is the second largest and one of the oldest cities in Poland. Kraków has traditionally been one of the leading centers of Polish academic, cultural and artistic life and is one of Poland's most important economic hubs. The main square dates back to the 13th century, is one of the largest medieval town squares in Europe. The project for public spaces lists the square as the best public space in Europe due to its lively street life. The 15th and 16th centuries were known as Poland's Golden Age. Kraków was a capital during the years of florescence, architecture of the Renaissance and Baroque, the time of kings and nobles, bishops, cathedrals and rabbis. King Kazimierz III of Poland declared the two western suburbs of Kraków to be a new town named after him, Kazimierz, the Jewish district in Kraków. King Kazimierz III realized that the nation needs a class of educated people, especially lawyers, who could codify the country's laws and administer the courts and offices, and in 1346 he established the first university in Poland, Uniwersytet Jagielloński. The Gothic Wawel Castle in Kraków was built at the behest of Kazimierz III the Great, who reigned from 1333 to 1370, and consists of a number of structures situated around the central courtyard. Wojtek is a soldier bear, which monument is now in Kraków. During the Battle of Monte Cassino, he helped move ammunition. The bear was fed with fruit, marmalade, honey and syrup, and was often rewarded with beer, which became his favorite drink. Pretzel, like circular things, are eaten daily in Kraków. This is one of the city's staple street foods. You will find stands all over the city. Like pretzels in other cities, there are nice quick bites to fill your stomach while you're strolling around the city. Krakow Life Festival is one of many taking place in the city. At first, the festival started promoting hip-hop, R&B and pop. Yet in the following years, more bands catered to the tastes of rock fans. The festival hosted the greatest stars of both genres. Kraków is a home place for Czesław Miłosz, a Polish poet, prose writer, translator and diplomat. In 1980, he was awarded the Nobel Prize in Literature. Another celebrity from Kraków is Roman Polański, film director, producer, writer and actor. Having made films in Poland, the United Kingdom, France and the United States, he is considered one of the few truly international filmmakers. A really popular lady from that area is Helena Rubinstein, a cosmetic entrepreneur. She was the founder of Helena Rubinstein Incorporated Cosmetics Company, which made her one of the world's richest women. The main part of the city is Kazimierz, center of Jewish life in Kraków for over 500 years before it was systematically destroyed during the Second World War. In the communist era, it became one of the dodgiest districts while gradually falling into disrepair. Rediscovered in the 1990s, Kazimierz has since been on the rebound and is today Krakow's most exciting district. A bustling, bohemian neighborhood packed with historical sites, atmospheric cafes and art galleries. Now in the very center of Kazimierz you can buy zapiekanka, an open-faced sandwich made of half of baguette, topped with sauteed white mushrooms, cheese and optionally other ingredients, and toasted until the cheese melts. Oświęcim. In the town of Oświęcim is located the concentration camp Auschwitz, a network of German Nazi concentration camps and extermination camps built and operated by the Third Reich in Polish areas annexed by Nazi Germany during the Second World War. Established by the Nazis in 1940, Auschwitz-Birkenau has become a symbol of terror, genocide and the Holocaust. Although the exact number of victims is unknown, many Jews, Poles and Gypsies died here. The greater part of the apparatus of mass extermination was built in Birkenau, and the majority of the victims were murdered here. Zakopane. Zakopane is a center of Gural culture and is known informally as the winter capital of Poland. It is a popular destination of mountaineering, skiing and qualified tourism. Zakopane is located in southernmost Poland near the border with Slovakia. It lies in a valley between the Tatra Mountains and Gubałówka Hill. It can be reached by train or by bus from district capital Krakow, which is about 2 hours away. Typical here is the cheese oscypek, a smoked cheese made of salted sheep milk exclusively in the Tatra Mountains region of Poland. Since 2007, oscypek is a protected trade name under the European Union's protected designation of origin geographical indication. The Tatra Mountains are a mountain range that form of a natural border between Slovakia and Poland. They are highest mountain range in the Carpathian Mountains. Wieliczka. Wieliczka salt mine, located in the town of Wieliczka, lies within the Krakow metropolitan area. The mine, built in the 13th century, produced table salt continuously until 2007, as one of the world's oldest salt mines still in operation. The mine's attractions include dozens of statues and 4 chapels that have been carved out of the rock sought by the miners. The oldest sculptures are augmented by the new carvings by contemporary artists. There is a chapel and a reception room that is used for private functions including weddings. A chamber has walls carved by miners to resemble wood, as in wooden churches built in early centuries. Pope John Paul II was born in the same province. He served as Pope from 1978 to 2005, and he is still a very important figure amongst the Polish society even today. Pope John Paul II was also one of the strongest supporters of Lech Wałęsa and Solidarity movement. In the Lesser Poland voivodeship lies Bledów Desert. The Bledowska Sands is Central Europe's largest accumulation of loose sand in the area away from any sea, deposited thousands of years ago by a melting glacier. Województwo podkarpackie. Wandsworth Castle is a famous aristocratic residence in Poland, a magnificent complex including a number of buildings and surrounded by old, spacious park. The synagogue in Rzeszów is one of the oldest synagogues in the province. In the same area is located the world's first oil mine, opened in 1854. Województwo świętokrzyskie. Kielce. Kielce is the capital city of the province. Its history dates back to the 10th century. In 1364, Kielce becomes recognized as a city and gains certain privileges connected with this legal status. The city was hosted, howsoever, the unfortunate scene of the Kielce pogrom, which resulted in the deaths of 40 Jewish Holocaust survivors and another 80 injured nearly a year after the Nazi death camp was liberated. Województwo łódzkie. Łódź. Łódź is the third largest city in Poland. In recent years, it was seemingly forgotten by the governments, investors and travelers in favor for other cities, but there is a certain charm to Łódź in its partially renovated facades and leitmotifs. With a little bit of persistence, you will see the magic Łódź has to offer, for a different and eye-opening experience of the world and its cultures, which is certainly a recommended destination. Łódź has been capitalizing on its film history and large artistic traditions. The name of the city is jokingly referred to as the Holy Łódź of Poland and hosts several film festivals and many other cultural events. Probably you already know that the Polish people are really popular for their good vodka. In this province, you can even find a village named exactly like the drink. In fact, Poland is part of the best vodka-producing countries and has a history producing high-quality vodka for more than 500 years. Poles don't drink vodka in cocktail form or diluted with a mixer. In fact, to traditionalists, these practices are considered practically criminal. Vodka is drunk neat, chilled, but without ice, and usually in measurements of 50 milliliters. Województwo mazowieckie. Warszawa. Warsaw is the capital of Poland, and with 1.7 million inhabitants, which makes it the largest city in the country. The Centrum area, which also comprises the famous Warsaw Old Town, is made up for 6 diverse districts and is a mixture of industrial areas and prestigious residential neighborhoods. It will be here that most travelers will spend their time in Warsaw. Historically, the right bank was the first one to become populated during the 9th or 10th century. However, the present city's central district lies on the left bank. The old town is fully contained within the borders of the city center. The medieval capital of Poland was the southern city of Kraków, but Warsaw has been the capital of the country since 1596 and has grown to become Poland's largest city and the nation's urban and commercial center. Despite the vast destruction the city experiences in the Second World War, Warsaw managed to preserve a big part of its cultural wealth. Completely destroyed by the Nazis during the Second World War, the city managed to lift itself from the ashes. Today, almost every building in Warsaw dates to the post-war era, with what little remains of the old structures being confined largely to the restored district of the old city and the new city, as well as selected monuments and cemeteries. The city was rebuilt in the immediate aftermath of the war, and the monolithic grey apartment block that characterized much of the city, especially its outer areas. The Warsaw Ghetto was the largest of all of the Jewish ghettos in Nazi-occupied Europe. It was established in Polish capital in 1940. From there, at least 254,000 ghetto residents were sent to extermination camp over the course of 2 months. After the Jewish uprising in 1943, the Germans, under the field command of Jürgen Stroop, systematically burned and blew up the ghetto buildings, block by block, rounding up or murdering anybody they could capture. The Warsaw Uprising was a major World War II operation by the Polish army. The uprising was timed to the conceit with the Soviet Union's Red Army. However, the Soviet advance stopped short, enabling the Germans to regroup and demolish the city in 1944. The Polish Round Table talks also took place in Warsaw from February 6th to April 5th, 1989. The government initiated the discussion with the banned trade union Solidarity and other opposition groups in an attempt to defuse growing social unrest. In the capital city was born Krzysztof Kieślowski, an influential Polish film director and screenwriter, known internationally for the Decalogue, The Double Life of Veronique, and the Three Colors trilogy. Warsaw is a home place for Maria Curie. She was the first woman to win a Nobel Prize, the first person and only woman to win twice, the only person to win twice in multiple sciences, and was part of the Curie family legacy of 5 Nobel Prizes. Maria Skłodowska was born in this house in 1867 as the fifth and youngest child of well-known teachers Bronisława and Władysław Składowski. The composer and virtuoso pianist of the Romantic era, who wrote primarily for the solo piano, Fryderyk Chopin, was born close to Warsaw as well. In June in Warsaw you can attend Orange Festival, which is a mixture between different genres like rock, pop, alternative, indie rock and electronic. Województwo lubelskie. Lublin. Lublin is the largest city in Poland east of Warsaw and Vistula River. In the Middle Ages and early modern era, it played an important role as an administrative, trade and military center of the Polish Kingdom and the Polish-Lithuanian Commonwealth. In recent years, Lublin has emerged as a tourist destination due in part to its significant old town and as a gateway to the eastern half of the Republic. Kazimierz Dolny. It is a considerable tourist attraction as one of the most beautifully situated little towns in Poland. It enjoyed its greatest prosperity in the 16th and the first half of the 17th century due to the trade in grain conducted along the Vistula. Kazimierz Dolny is an art center in Poland. Many painters retreat to the small town to paint and sell their work. Galleries can be found in almost every street, offering for sale sculptures, stained glass, folk art and fine art. In this province are some of the biggest hops plantations in Poland. Hops are the female flowers of the hop plant. They are used primarily as a flavoring and stability agent in beer, to which they impart a bitter, tangy flavor. Województwo podlaskie. Białystok. Białystok is the gateway to many natural attractions of the Podlasie region, known collectively as the Green Lungs of Poland, including Biebrza and Białowieża national parks. Białystok is also the place of birth of Ludwig Zamenhof, the inventor of the artificial language Esperanto. The city hosted an international Esperanto conference in 2010. Close to Białystok is the Augustów Canal. The time it was first built, the canal was described by experts as a technological marvel, with numerous sluices contributing to its aesthetic appeal. Not so far, in the Europe's last primeval forest, on Poland's border with Belarus, experts are fighting to protect the żubr, or European bison. The bison is Europe's heaviest land mammal, weighing up to 800 kilograms. In Poland, you can find some drinks named after the rare animal. One of them is the wir żubr, which means bison in Polish. Even teetotal travelers to Poland are likely to stumble across żubrówka vodka. It comes in a bottle with a distinctive label featuring a bison, żubr, and a blade of buffalo grass. The largest of Poland's national park is Biebrza National Park, created in 1993. It protects vast and relatively untouched fendos with a unique variety of several communities of plants, rare wetlands birds and mammals. Województwo warmińsko-mazurskie. Olsztyn. Olsztyn is located in the northeast part of Poland, in the region known as the Thousand Lakes. There are 15 lakes inside the administrative bounds of the city. A part of the Olsztyn attracts tourists with its old history. The Battle of Grunwald took place in the same area. The battle was one of the largest in medieval Europe and is regarded as the most important victory in the histories of Poland, Belarus and Lithuania. The Masurian lake districts contain more than 2,000 lakes. The lakes are well connected by rivers and canals, forming an extensive system of waterways. The 18th century Masurian Canal links this system to the Baltic Sea. In order to explore all these provinces by yourself, we would like to share with you some useful websites and mobile applications which will facilitate your traveling around Poland. First of all comes Polski Bus, one of the most popular travel companies within the country. It keeps really low prices and can take you to all the big cities in Poland. Our second advice is e-podróżnik, which allows you to check timetables and tickets prices to all sorts of transportation. The third option is Jak dojadę, which will keep you updated with the public transport timetable in the cities. And don't hesitate to try BlaBlaCar, which turned out to be pretty popular way of traveling in Poland. Once you get to the place you want to visit, you will need also accommodation. Here couchsurfing is the best option. You will have the chance to spend time with local people and to get to know more about the Polish culture. And last but not least, when it comes to traveling, you can always try hitchhiking. On the website given you can find all the information regarding Polish hitchhikers. Now, when you are more familiar with the Polish provinces and the ways to travel, it's time to take a look over the Polish people, their culture and traditions. Let's start with the folklore first. On the picture you can see what a big variety the Poles have when it comes to national costumes. Every time they have to present the folklore, you can see them dressed with some of these types of clothes.
Dwudziesty roczek nadchodzi, 20 roczek nadchodzi, mój Jasieńko zimną chodzi, mój Jasieńko zimną chodzi. Niechaj chodzi jak Bóg raczy, niechaj chodzi jak Bóg raczy, niech sam Pan Bóg nie zabaczy, niech sam Pan Bóg nie zabaczy.
Studniówka is a celebration for final grade high school students. It is held approximately 100 days before the matura exams. Typical for that type of prom is the national dance called Polones. Girls wear red gotha underneath, which is believed to bring good luck at the exams. Poles have an interesting way of celebrating their weddings. A day before the official ceremony, people who know the bride and the groom go to the couple's house for a party. According to the traditions, before they enter the house, they have to break an empty bottle in front of the front door. It is believed that it will bring luck to the future marriage. Polish people are the youngest to get married. Their weddings last around 12 hours. Alcohol, food and party with disco polo are inevitable for a good celebration.
Bo ty jesteś zajebista, to sprawa jest oczywista. Wyrosłaś na mądrą dziewczynę, dla ciebie zabiję lub zginę.
The ceremony called Oczepiny is at midnight. The bride removes her veil and tosses it into a gathered crowd of single women. It is said that those who catch the tossed garments will be the next to marry. The bride and groom might choose to play a number of games. The character of these games can vary. Some couples play a little trivia game about one another. A superstition to a good marriage is to celebrate the wedding in the month which contains the letter R. Andrzejki is really popular Polish tradition which helps people to predict their future using melted wax and old key and water. Saint Nicholas Day, 6th of December, was eagerly awaited by the children. The night before, they hung up clean white stocking, hoping they would be filled with sweets and chocolates. Christmas Eve dinner is the most important celebration of the year. The tradition calls for 12 traditional curses. This number is the symbol of the richness, 12 apostles, and represents the 12 months of the year. Meat is not allowed. It is a tradition to eat carp, and it's the Christmas Eve must-have in many families. Talking about food, Polish people have their main dinner called obiad. It includes a soup, a main course, and a salad. After that, they have a small snacks with sandwiches. This is how the typical Polish food set look like. Tatar is the meat dish made from finely chopped or minced raw beef. It is often served with onions, seasonings, a raw egg yolk. It comes from the communism years. Żurek is soup made of soured rye flour and meat, usually boiled pork sausages or pieces of smoked sausage, bacon or ham. In Poland, it sometimes is served in an eatable bowl made of bread or with boiled potatoes. Bigos is a traditional dish with meat and cabbage stew. If you are able to attend a Polish house party, domówka, you will probably see this bread with lard and pickles. Goes really nicely with the vodka shots. It is a traditional Catholic Christian feast marking the last Thursday before Lent. In Poland, on that day, everyone has to eat at least one donut. Poland is also well known for its delicious apples. The country is the biggest apple producer in the world. One interesting fact is how the Poles eat bananas. They never consume the ends of it. Another pretty surprising thing for the foreigners here is the dubbing in movies. Voice-over is the traditional translation method in Polish television and movies. The word lektor, reader, is used to refer to the voice artist. All the people said that watching movies in original version can help you to learn the language, so you can try with Polish. However, you have to know Polish is one of the most difficult languages in the world. As you can see, there are different ways to say one thing because of their 7 cases in grammar. Because of that cases, you can find even your name changed in many different ways. Take care. If somebody says to you no, it means yes. Polish are always using no like okay. There are only a few dialects that differ from the standard Polish language. The most popular one is Kaszubski, a separate language used by the inhabitants living west of Gdańsk near the Baltic Sea. The Kashubian language is taught even at the local schools as a minority language. It's a bit complicated, but don't worry, you will survive. You will be able to learn some words and expressions for your daily life. Use your time to discover Poland by your own and don't forget to enjoy your EVS.